Everything you have ever sought in this world begins and ends in a single, subtle vibration, feeling. Before the thought takes form, before the word is spoken, before the act is done, there is an invisible stirring, an inner movement within your consciousness that announces creation. You may call it imagination, emotion, intuition, or energy, but it is all the same thing. The feeling of being. And that feeling, when mastered, becomes the greatest creative force in existence. Today I want to teach you not how to think it, not how to wish it, but how to feel it. The universe does not hear your words. It echoes your frequency. It does not respond to the noise of your desires. It mirrors the quiet certainty of your being. So many spend their lives chasing things, trying to force the world to bend to their will, yet they remain trapped in the struggle because they never learnt the secret rhythm of life, to feel it first and let it unfold in perfect harmony. You cannot outthink the cosmos, but you can attune to it. You can enter into its flow. You can rest in the realization that everything already exists. And what you call manifestation is simply the art of matching the feeling of what already is. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You are no longer reaching for anything outside yourself. You are the center of your own field of consciousness, a vast sphere of energy vibrating with infinite potential. Within you is the seed of every possibility. Love, wealth, peace, power, joy, all waiting for one command, to be felt into existence. When you feel it, you breathe life into the invisible. You are not begging the universe. You are commanding it through resonance. You are saying, I am this now. And life rearranges itself to reflect that truth. It's not about pretending or repeating affirmations until you believe them. It's about touching the vibrations so deeply that it becomes real to your inner senses. Think of how you feel when you remember a moment of deep happiness, the laughter that makes your body warm and your heart expand. Notice how real it feels, even though it exists only as memory. Now imagine bringing that same vividness to a state that hasn't yet happened, to a reality you wish to create. That's what it means to feel it, to embody it before it arrives, to live from it, not toward it. The mind loves to calculate, to plan, to strategize. It asks, how will it happen? The heart, however, does not concern itself with method. It only knows experience. Feeling is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It bypasses the intellect entirely. When you feel, you become the living vibration of your desire. You are no longer imagining having it. You are embodying being it. And that distinction changes everything. Most people approach creation backwards. They look at the world and respond to what they see. If they see abundance, they feel grateful. If they see lack, they feel fear. But the wise creator knows the order is reversed. Feel first, then see. You do not wait for the evidence, you create it. You do not react to the mirror, you adjust your reflection. To master feeling is to realize that consciousness precedes circumstance. Every emotion is a magnetic signal sent into the fabric of reality. Every state of being is a command written in the language of energy. When you feel lack, you summon more lack. When you feel joy, you attract joy's reflection. The key is not to fight unwanted emotions, but to rise above them by entering a deeper state of awareness where you deliberately choose how to feel. You can train your inner state like a musician tunes an instrument, by attention, repetition, and harmony. And that is the true alchemy of the spirit, to take an inner image and give it flesh through feeling. When you learn to feel it with intensity, persistence, and faith, the world around you becomes fluid, responsive, obedient. You begin to notice coincidences, signs, synchronicities. What you once called luck or miracle is simply the universe aligning with your vibration. Consider the simple truth that everything you experience is, in essence, happening within you. You never actually touch the external world. What you experience is your perception, your consciousness interpreting vibration into sound, color, texture, emotion. And because all of it happens within you, to change the feeling within is to change the entire world you perceive. It's like realizing you are both the dreamer and the dream, the objects, people, events, all projections of your inner state. When you shift that state, the projection must follow. Feeling is not passive. It's not wishful thinking. It's an act of creative authority. To feel deliberately is to take the reins of existence and declare, I am the one who shapes the experience. It's an act of courage, because it requires you to believe in the unseen, to trust your imagination more than your senses, to stand firm in an inner conviction when the outer world still contradicts you. But that is how creation works. You persist in the inner vision until it solidifies into form. Imagine you are an artist and your medium is consciousness. The brush is your attention, the paint is your feeling, and the canvas is reality itself. What you focus upon, infused with emotion, begins to take shape in the field of energy around you. You may not see it at once, but it's forming, crystallizing, growing denser, until one day it crosses the threshold into visibility. You'll call it manifestation, but it was always you, your feeling condensed into matter. The tragedy is that most people use this power unconsciously. They feel fear, doubt, and resentment, and life dutifully mirrors those feelings. They pray for change, but vibrate with worry. They visualize abundance, but feel lack. They affirm love, but feel loneliness. The universe does not respond to words, it responds to the feeling behind them. So if you wish to transform your life, you must master the art of inner alignment, the discipline of feeling as though the wish were already fulfilled. Now, how do you do this? You start by silencing the noise, the constant chatter of the mind, the endless opinions, the fears, the comparisons. Let them go. You must become still enough to sense the subtle realm beneath thought where feeling resides. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and withdraw your attention from the outer world. Turn inward. Feel the aliveness within your hands, your chest, your breath. That is your entry point. The awareness of being. From that stillness, imagine the scene of your fulfilled desire as if it were happening right now, not in the future, not someday, now. Feel the emotions it would naturally produce, relief, joy, gratitude, excitement, and dwell in them until they take on the weight of reality. The mistake many make is trying too hard to visualize every detail, forcing the image into clarity. But it's not the detail that matters. It's the essence of the feeling. The universe understands frequency, not form. So when you feel abundance, it doesn't matter how the money comes. It will come through channels you never imagined. When you feel love, it doesn't matter who or where. Love will find its way to you. The form is the universe's domain. Your task is only to sustain the feeling. In this, feeling is faith made tangible. It is the evidence of things not seen. To feel is to believe beyond reason, to touch the invisible with the certainty of the heart. Every great creator, mystic or visionary, has known this secret. They didn't wait for the world to give them proof. They generated proof from within. They lived in the assumption of their fulfilled desire until the world yielded to their conviction. That is what it means to live by faith, to walk as though the unseen were already here. Till you realize how powerful you are. Every thought you dwell upon, every emotion you nurture, is a seed in the garden of your life. If you plant worry, you reap delay. If you plant confidence, you reap success. Your world is your mirror, and it never lies. It reflects what you are being, not what you are wanting. That's why wanting often leads to frustration. It implies not having. But feeling as though you already have dissolves resistance, creates a natural ease, an effortless flow, where everything begins to move toward you because you are no longer pushing against it. And every event at a tiny, unassuming state begins to... This is where many misunderstand manifestation. They think it's about effort, striving, grinding their way to success. But the true manifestation is restful, not forceful. It's not about doing more. It's about being more. Being in alignment with the frequency of what you desire. You rest in the knowing that it is done. You feel it so completely that the outer world must conform. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer struggle, you allow. And here lies the paradox. When you stop chasing, everything begins to chase you. Because the energy of pursuit is lack, while the energy of embodiment is abundance. To feel it is to become the magnet, not the seeker. You stand still, radiant, magnetic, and the world comes to you. Opportunities unfold, people appear, synchronicities bloom. You realize you were never trying to get something from life. You were trying to remember that you already are life itself. When you awaken to that realization, you begin to sense an invisible intelligence surrounding you, guiding every step. You start to notice that your desires are not random. They are messages from your higher self, calling you into expansion. Each desire carries within it the vibration of its fulfillment. If you can feel it, it's already yours. The delay is not in time, but in belief. The moment you align your feeling with the state desired, you enter it, and the rest unfolds naturally. Now, there's another layer to this mystery: telepathy. The world of feeling is not confined to your body. It's a field that extends outward and connects to every living being. When you hold a strong feeling, it communicates invisibly to others. That's why two people can think of each other at the same moment, why emotions spread through rooms, why love can be felt across oceans. Feeling is energy, and energy knows no distance. So when you hold the vibration of love, peace, or abundance, you are broadcasting that signal into the collective field. You influence the unseen network of consciousness around you. Then you clearly make this one, this all, this one, you all, unique. Today, this atom, you are this, you help all. This one, you are. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt the mood before anyone spoke? That's the silent language of feeling. When you master this language, you become a transmitter of your own reality. You no longer absorb the world's chaos. You project your harmony into it. You walk through life untouched by external noise because you have learned to create from within. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. It's the recognition that the outer world is only a reflection of the inner one. When you change your inner climate, you change the weather of your reality. When you begin to live from the state of feeling, not thinking, you notice a strange shift in how the world responds to you. Things that used to frustrate you dissolve like mist under sunlight. People who once ignored you begin to notice. Doors that were closed suddenly open. It's as if life has been waiting for you to finally remember who you are. Not a beggar at the gates of destiny, but the very architect of it. You begin to realize that you were never meant to chase after experiences. You were meant to generate them. The feeling comes first, and the world bows in response. To feel is to speak the language of the universe fluently. Every vibration, every pulse of existence listens and answers to the tone of your inner state. If you radiate joy, you call forth experiences of joy. If you dwell in fear, you draw toward yourself reflections of fear. There is no punishment, no reward, only resonance. The universe is impartial, mirroring back whatever music you are playing in the silence of your being. That is why the ancient mystics said, "As within, so without." They were not offering a poetic phrase. They were describing the exact mechanics of creation. Think for a moment about how deeply you feel when you're in love. The whole world changes color. Music sounds sweeter, people seem kinder, the air feels charged with possibility. Nothing outside you actually changed, but because your feeling changed, your entire perception of reality transformed. That is the key. To feel it is to change the lens through which you experience life. Once the lens shifts, the projection must shift accordingly. This is not mere philosophy, it's the foundation of spiritual physics. Consciousness creates form through feeling. You don't have to understand how. You don't have to trace the invisible path from your inner state to the physical event. The how belongs to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. Your role is to hold the state, to sustain the feeling, to dwell in the vibration of what you wish to experience. When you do, the world reshapes itself in ways you could never plan. You might wake up one morning and find that what once seemed impossible now feels natural. The people, the opportunities, the timing, all fall into place as if by coincidence. But it's not coincidence. It's correspondence. You finally matched the frequency of your desire, and reality had no choice but to mirror it. The secret, however, is consistency. Feeling once is not enough. You must live in it, breathe in it, walk in it as though it were your natural home. You must return to it whenever fear or doubt tries to pull you away. This is what it means to dwell in the end, to live from the assumption that your wish is already fulfilled. When you persist, the energy consolidates. The unseen becomes visible. But how do you persist when the world shows you the opposite? You persist by remembering that appearances are delayed reflections. The world you see today is the echo of yesterday's feelings. So when you face lack or conflict, do not react. Instead, feel deeper into the truth you wish to live. You are not denying what exists. You are choosing what will exist next. Every moment offers you that power. Let's go even deeper. Feeling is not limited to emotion. It is the very essence of awareness. It's the pulse of consciousness itself. When you say, I am, before you add any label, you are already feeling the raw sensation of being. That pure awareness is the foundation of all creation. It is the infinite stillness that moves mountains, the silent intelligence behind every breath. When you tune into it, you find that everything you've ever sought outside has been within you all along. This is the heart of manifestation, not to manipulate matter, but to awaken the truth that matter is consciousness condensed. You don't attract things, you become them. You merge with their essence through feeling. And when you truly become one with a state, separation dissolves. There is no gap between desire and fulfillment. You feel it, because you are it. That's why feeling is so much more powerful than thinking. Thought operates in time. It's linear, analytical, limited. Feeling operates in eternity. It's immediate, whole, and infinite. When you think of wealth, you may picture numbers, possessions, status. But when you feel wealth, you touch the vibration of abundance itself, the sense of security, freedom, expansion, and gratitude. That vibration transcends images. It becomes your nature. And when it becomes your nature, it must express itself as form. Let me share something subtle yet profound. Most people believe they feel because of what happens to them. But the truth is, what happens to them is because of what they feel. The causal direction is reversed. You are not reacting to life. Life is reacting to you. It listens to your emotional tone, to your inner dialogue, to the quiet hum beneath your thoughts. Even when you say nothing, you are always communicating through your vibration. Feeling is not about suppressing or faking emotions. It's about becoming so aware of them that you can choose consciously which ones to inhabit. Imagine standing before a vast panel of frequencies, each one representing a state of being. Love, fear, joy, doubt, peace, anger. You have the ability to tune into any one of them at will. Most people spin the dial unconsciously, reacting to circumstance, but you can become deliberate, choosing your station, holding it with unwavering faith. That is the mastery of life. And when you master this, something miraculous happens. You begin to experience telepathic resonance with others. You'll notice that people start responding to your inner state even before you speak. They sense your energy. They feel drawn to your calm, your confidence, your certainty. It's not manipulation, it's magnetic coherence. You've become aligned with the natural rhythm of the universe, and others can feel it. When two beings align in vibration, communication transcends words. They exchange energy, not language. Their feelings intertwine, and understanding becomes effortless. This is the higher form of connection, soul to soul, essence to essence. And the more you practice feeling consciously, the stronger your telepathic sensitivity becomes. You begin to pick up the emotional currents of others, not to invade their privacy, but to move through the world with greater empathy and wisdom. You feel the unity beneath the surface differences. You understand that separation is only an illusion, projected by limited perception. Now imagine living every day in that state, fully aware, fully alive, deeply feeling. You no longer react to life, you dance with it. You no longer plead with the universe, you commune with it. You sense its pulse in your breath, its rhythm in your heartbeat, its whispers in your intuition. That is what it means to be awakened, to live as the conscious conductor of your own symphony of feelings. Let's speak about persistence once more, because this is where most falter. You will not master feeling in a day. It is a practice, a discipline, a devotion. At first your mind will rebel. It will say, this isn't real. I'm just pretending. But that is only because it has been trained to worship appearances. You must retrain it to obey feeling. Each time you return to the state of your desire, you are carving a new groove in the fabric of your consciousness. You are teaching your body, your mind, your energy to recognize this new vibration as home. Eventually the effort disappears. Feeling becomes natural, the state becomes stable, and then, without warning, reality bends. Something clicks. The phone call arrives. The opportunity appears. The healing begins. The world catches up with your inner conviction. It always does, because consciousness is primary and form is secondary. The irony is that once the desire manifests, you realize you no longer need it. You already were the fullness you were seeking. You recognize that everything you ever wanted was only a reflection of the feeling itself. The joy, the freedom, the love. Once you feel it deeply, the form is just a bonus, a mirror showing you what you become. So if you wish to change your life, don't ask for more things. Ask to feel more deeply, to feel gratitude before the gift arrives, to feel love before the relationship begins, to feel success before the recognition. That is how you bend reality. That is how you become the cause rather than the effect. Some will hear this and think it's too simple. They say, it can't be that easy. But simplicity is the highest sophistication. The mind complicates because it fears losing control. Feeling bypasses control. It flows. And in that flow, miracles are natural. You don't force a flower to bloom. You align with the season and let it happen. You may wonder, what if I can't feel it? What if my emotions are numb? Then start small. Feel your breath. And remember, feeling is not something you do, it's something you allow. It's already happening beneath your attention. Your only task is to become aware of it, to direct it with intention, and to sustain it long enough for the world to catch up. And as you sustain this feeling, something magnificent begins to occur. You start to realize that the universe was never separate from you at all. The gap between the dreamer and the dream dissolves. You see that the same intelligence animating your breath is the one painting the sunset, guiding the tides and spinning the stars. The same energy that makes your heart beat is the one that makes galaxies move. You and the universe are not two. You are one continuous stream of awareness, expressing itself through countless forms. To feel it, truly feel it, is to awaken from the illusion of separation and to remember that you are life itself in conscious motion. The moment you grasp this, fear loses its grip. You understand that there is no outside force conspiring against you. There is only the reflection of your own inner vibration. When you radiate peace, peace surrounds you. When you radiate gratitude, life gives you more reasons to be grateful. You stop fighting shadows because you realize they were cast by your own light. In that awareness, you become untouchable, not in arrogance, but in serenity. You become the still center around which all movement happens, the calm in the storm, the observer and the participant both. Feeling, then, is not just a tool for manifestation, it's the bridge to awakening. It dissolves the walls between self and existence. It shows you that everything you experience is a conversation between your consciousness and itself. Every person you meet, every challenge you face, every coincidence that crosses your path, it's all your own energy meeting itself in disguise. That's why when you change within, others change around you. When you forgive, life forgives you. When you love, the world becomes luminous. You are not influencing others through manipulation. You are harmonizing with them through resonance. It's astonishing how fast life responds when you begin to live this way. When you stop struggling against what is and begin feeling the essence of what you desire, the whole texture of reality becomes soft, pliable, cooperative. You find yourself in the right place at the right time more often. People who align with your vibration show up effortlessly. You begin to anticipate the rhythm of life instead of chasing it. This is the dance of consciousness. Effortless, yet powerful, gentle, yet unstoppable. To feel it is to move from the world of effort to the world of grace. Effort is the child of fear, grace is the child of trust. Effort says, I must make this happen. Grace whispers, it's already done. The difference lies in your state of feeling. When you truly feel it, you no longer push, you no longer wait, you no longer ask. You simply live as though it were already so. And because you live it, it becomes so. There's a certain vibration of calm certainty that arises when you fully embody this truth. It's not arrogance or delusion, it's deep knowing. You walk as if you've already arrived. You speak as if it's already done. You smile as if the entire universe is conspiring in your favor, because it is. And even when nothing yet appears to have changed, you trust that reality is rearranging itself behind the scenes to mirror your inner conviction. You see, feeling is not bound by time. It operates outside of cause and effect. When you feel something vividly enough, the past and future bend to accommodate that feeling. That's why miracles defy logic. They emerge from a dimension beyond linear causality. The law of feeling overrides the law of circumstance. You become the author of your timeline, editing your reality not by action but by emotion. The question arises, how strong must the feeling be? It need not be dramatic or theatrical. It must be sincere. Even a quiet conviction held consistently reshapes worlds. The key is not intensity but persistence. Like water carving through stone, steady feeling wears down resistance. The mind will doubt, let it. The body will tremble, let it. The feeling is deeper than both. It is your divine signature, the vibration of your essence declaring itself into being. Sometimes, to truly feel it, you must surrender the very desire for control. You must stop trying to force the feeling and simply allow yourself to be absorbed by it. You imagine the state of your wish fulfilled and then release all effort, like floating on water. The moment you stop struggling to stay afloat, the water holds you. That's how feeling works. When you let go, it carries you. The more you trust it, the more it expands. There's a beauty in surrender because it returns you to your natural rhythm. You were born to feel freely, to express without fear, to move with the flow of existence. But years of conditioning have taught you to doubt your inner senses, to rely only on the external, to think instead of feel. That's why the first step in awakening your power is not learning something new, but unlearning what blocks your sensitivity. You must quiet the noise of overthinking, release the armor of skepticism, and remember the simplicity of pure awareness. When you strip away all beliefs, opinions, and judgments, what remains is feeling, raw, unfiltered, divine. In that naked awareness, you sense your connection to everything. You realize that you were never meant to analyze life, but to experience it. Thinking about love is not love. Describing peace is not peace. To know them, you must feel them directly. That is the secret that liberates you from the prison of intellect. And here's the paradox. When you begin to feel more deeply, your thoughts naturally align. You no longer need to control them because they begin to serve your vibration. They become inspired, creative, harmonious. The mind was never your enemy. It only became chaotic when it lost touch with feeling. Bring feeling back, and the mind becomes a brilliant instrument again. Clear, obedient, luminous. You start to notice that your inner world and outer world communicate continuously through feeling. For instance, if you wake up and feel gratitude before anything happens, you'll find small blessings unfolding throughout the day. If you feel frustrated, life mirrors that tension back at you in minor annoyances. The universe is like a musician improvising with you. It plays in harmony with your emotional tone. So the question is never, why is this happening to me? But rather, what am I feeling that this is reflecting? This awareness turns even challenges into teachers. When something unpleasant arises, instead of resisting it, you ask, what vibration is this showing me? You use it as feedback, as a compass pointing you back toward alignment. That is how you evolve quickly, by feeling consciously instead of reacting unconsciously. Every emotion becomes a messenger, every circumstance a mirror guiding you home. There's a great strength that comes from mastering your feelings, not the kind of strength that resists or dominates, but the kind that yields and understands. You become like water, soft, yet capable of wearing down mountains. You stop trying to control outcomes and start guiding currents. You move through life with quiet confidence, knowing that your inner vibration sets the tone for everything that follows. The more you live from this place, the more your sense of separation dissolves. You begin to feel others' emotions, not to absorb their pain, but to understand their perspective. Compassion blossoms naturally. You no longer judge because you see that every person is acting out the vibration they currently believe in. You've been there yourself, so you understand. That understanding is love. And love is the highest frequency of feeling. When you dwell in it, everything becomes possible. Love is the master key. When you feel love deeply, not just for someone or something, but as a state of being, the whole universe opens. It's not sentimental or romantic, it's existential. Love is the awareness of unity. It's the recognition that everything you perceive is made of the same essence as you. When you love, you harmonize. When you harmonize, creation becomes effortless. That's why all spiritual traditions, in their purest form, point to love as the final realization. To feel love deliberately is to touch the divine. It's to move through the world with an open heart that trusts the unfolding of every moment. You stop asking, what's in it for me, and start feeling, what can I give through my being? The paradox is that when you give love freely, without agenda, it returns multiplied. Because what you send out is what you are. The universe does not differentiate between giver and receiver. It only amplifies vibration. In that awareness, every act becomes sacred. A conversation, a smile, a breath. All radiate power when infused with conscious feeling. You no longer wait for extraordinary moments. You realize that ordinary moments become extraordinary when felt deeply. Washing your hands, walking in sunlight, hearing a bird's song. Each becomes a portal to the infinite when you are fully present. Feeling, not thinking, makes life holy. The more you live this way, the more synchronicity becomes your natural state. You'll notice that people call just when you think of them. Ideas appear in dreams. Solutions reveal themselves without struggle. You start to realize that what you once called intuition is simply your sensitivity to the unified field of consciousness. You were never disconnected. You were only distracted. Feeling reconnects you. It sharpens your perception beyond the five senses. It lets you move through life guided by a deeper intelligence. That's why manifestation and telepathy are two sides of the same coin. Both arise from feeling. When you feel something intensely, you broadcast it into the collective mind, and reality reshapes to match it. That's why when two people are deeply connected, they can sense each other's thoughts, moods, or needs without speaking. Their fields are harmonized. And when you live in a high vibration consistently, you begin to influence not just individuals, but environment. Your presence itself becomes transformative. You've surely noticed it before. The quiet power of a person who walks into a room and shifts the entire atmosphere without saying a word. That's the force of coherent feeling. Their inner world is ordered, their emotions aligned, their energy stable. Without trying, they elevate everyone around them because their vibration is pure. This is what happens when you live deliberately in the state of your wish fulfilled. You stop absorbing and start emanating. You become the cause rather than the effect. You no longer match frequencies. You set them. And that is the highest form of mastery. To live so intentionally that your very being becomes a tuning fork for harmony. You become the still point in a world of motion, the silent presence that brings peace wherever it goes. You don't preach, you don't persuade. You feel. And that feeling radiates like light through glass, invisible but undeniable. That is the way of true creation. Now, feeling has layers, just as sound has tones. There is the surface emotion, the immediate reaction, and then there's the deeper vibration, the underlying mood of your consciousness. Many people live only on the surface level, bouncing between excitement and fear, pleasure and pain. But the deeper layers, the calm beneath the waves, are where real transformation occurs. That's where you feel not with the body, but with the soul. To reach that level, you must be still enough to hear the silence beneath your thoughts, to sense the pulse of existence itself. Once you find that depth, you can begin to reshape it deliberately. You can plant feelings like seeds, love, abundance, confidence, and they will bloom through every level of your life. It's not about controlling each event. It's about infusing the root of your consciousness with the vibration you choose. Everything else flows from there naturally. When you hold a deep, unwavering feeling, reality begins to conspire in subtle, beautiful ways. Sometimes it's gentle, a chance encounter, a word overheard at the right time, a door that opens unexpectedly. Other times it's dramatic, a sudden shift, a miracle that defies logic. But either way, you know it's not coincidence. It's resonance. You felt it first, and the universe had to obey. Feeling is not bound by logic because it is older than logic. It is the language of the cosmos. Before the first thought was formed, before the first word was spoken, there was feeling, the awareness of being, the pulse of existence. That's why when you return to feeling, you return to source. You step back into the original creative power that gave birth to everything. And that power was never lost. It was simply forgotten. Every great awakening begins not with a new belief, but with a renewed sensitivity. You start to feel again, deeply, vividly, fully. You stop numbing yourself with distractions and begin to inhabit your own presence. You notice the warmth of your breath, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the quiet hum of life within your hands. You start to realize that the kingdom of heaven, the realm of creation, has always been within you. You were never exiled. You were simply asleep. When you feel consciously, you awaken from that sleep. You become aware that your inner world and outer world are not separate. They are reflections in the same mirror. Change the feeling, and the reflection changes automatically. That is why the enlightened ones live without resistance. They no longer try to change the mirror, they change themselves. But do not mistake this for passivity. Feeling is the most dynamic action there is. When you feel with intention, you are moving energy across dimensions. You are calling substance into form. You are doing the unseen work that precedes every visible effect. Thought can plan, but feeling creates. Action may move matter, but feeling moves energy. And energy moves everything. Think of feeling as the current beneath the surface of the ocean. The waves of action and circumstance are only the surface. The current decides their direction. If you try to change your life by effort alone, it's like fighting the waves. But if you change your feeling, you redirect the current, and the waves follow effortlessly. There will be moments when the old vibrations try to reassert themselves. Old fears, doubts, or memories may rise like ghosts. Don't fight them. Feel them fully and let them dissolve. Resistance only gives them power. Acceptance transforms them. The moment you bring awareness to a feeling, it begins to lose its hold. Awareness is the light that melts the shadow. You are not your past emotions. You are the awareness that experienced them. You can feel something new at any moment. That's your freedom. No story, no label, no memory can imprison you if you choose a new vibration now. The past has no power unless you keep feeding it with feeling. Withdraw your emotional attention and it withers. Turn your feeling toward what you desire and it blossoms. In this way, feeling becomes your spiritual compass. It tells you instantly whether you're in alignment with your higher self or not. When something feels expansive, peaceful, joyful, it's a sign that you're in harmony with your essence. When it feels heavy or contracted, it's simply feedback calling you to adjust. Listen to that guidance. The universe is always speaking through feeling. Eventually, you come to see that everything in existence is a symphony of feelings, vibrations interacting, blending, and harmonizing. Each person, each place, each object has its own frequency. When your vibration rises, you naturally attract higher harmonics. You find yourself surrounded by people and situations that reflect your elevated state. This is not luck, it's law. The universe cannot give you what you are not tuned to receive. So when something seems out of reach, it's not because life is withholding it, it's because you haven't yet matched its frequency. You can only experience what you have become. To experience love, you must feel love. To experience abundance, you must feel abundant. To experience peace, you must feel peace. It's beautifully simple, yet profoundly transformative. When you grasp this, you stop asking, when will it come, and start saying, it's here now. You stop asking, when will it produce the future? It creates it. Sometimes the manifestation doesn't come in the form you expected. That's because the universe knows more paths than you can imagine. Your feeling sets the destination. The route is not your concern. Trust that everything unfolding is part of the orchestration. What looks like a detour is often a refinement. The universe is infinitely intelligent, weaving every thread toward your chosen vibration. As you deepen into this practice, you'll find that your sense of time itself begins to change. The more present you are in feeling, the less bound you are by past and future. You start to live in a timeless now where creation happens instantly. You notice that things you used to wait for arrive effortlessly, sometimes even before you ask. Because in truth, asking and receiving are one when feeling becomes pure. The great secret is this: you were never learning how to manifest, you were remembering how to feel. Manifestation is just a side effect of alignment. When you live in the vibration of wholeness, life has no choice but to mirror wholeness back. When you live in love, love multiplies. When you live in abundance, prosperity flows. When you live in peace, even chaos becomes your servant. So ask yourself, what do you want to feel today? Not what do you want to have, but what do you want to feel? Because whatever you truly feel, you will have. And if you can feel it now, even faintly, even for a moment, then you have already begun the creation. The rest is just the unfolding of time catching up to your vibration. You will begin to notice something else too. People will be drawn to you without understanding why. They'll say there's something peaceful, magnetic, alive about you. That's the power of felt alignment. You are not trying to convince anyone of anything. You are living proof of what it means to feel truth into being. You've become a living demonstration of the law. From this place, telepathy becomes natural. You begin to communicate in silence, not with words, but with resonance. Someone may think of you just as you reach for them. You'll find answers arising from nowhere, inspirations that feel like whispers from the universe itself. But they're not whispers from outside, they're echoes from within. The entire cosmos is your extended mind. When you feel in harmony with it, you access infinite intelligence. Feeling is the password to that intelligence. It's the key that unlocks the gates of the unseen. You don't have to strain to hear guidance or force insight. It flows effortlessly through you when you are aligned. Intuition becomes your constant companion. Every step feels guided, every decision intuitive, every challenge purposeful. You begin to see that the universe was never testing you. It was teaching you how to trust your feeling. Because once you trust it, you no longer need signs or proof. You are the sign. You are the proof.